Hey everybody, welcome back to another mod time. Okay, today doing something right up our alley. We're doing an investigation on a particular mod, but in this particular focus point, we're going to be talking about bales. Not just any old type of bales. We're going to talk about Hesston Bales specifically. Now, a very popular YouTuber just had an issue trying to load, I guess, the Hesston Bales using the forks right here, right? The bell forks, bell spikes. Now, I did notice that a long time ago, specifically with this particular pack. And I was like, well, let me revisit that. Maybe we can figure out what's going on with it. Now, let me say this. This isn't necessarily a poke at the person who made the mod or the people. And just to make the physics work for, a bell spike that goes into a bale easily and comes out to mimic the real world is quite a feat, quite honestly, and they do very well. So this has what we call collisions, and that tells you, if I walk on top of it or I bump into it and I can't walk through it, pretty much I collide with it, right? So that is where I'm suspecting the issue might be, but we're going to do a little bit of an investigation to see what's going on. So now this is a standard, bigger bale with 9,000 liters. To my right, we have one of the Hesston Balers from the pack. And we're going to create a Hesston Bale really quick, so you can see the difference. Now I'm going to be a little cheaty here. And we're going to utilize, what was that? That is Easy Developer mod. And we're just going to go into here. We're going to make a straw bale by forcing that vehicle, which is the baler at the moment, the Hesston Baler, with straw. So I'm going to have to hit that twice. And if I remove background, you see that bale just came out. Boom. And we'll cut that off for now. Okay. So immediately what you can see, a couple things are different. So it is 13,000 liters. If you look down at the bottom right hand corner down there. And also, I think the mass is slightly different. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's it's still stuck in there, isn't it? Let's see if we can. Okay, force that out. There we go. There we go. So we have the bale out. Now, I haven't actually put these side by side, but I am seeing that they are slightly different sizes, and that shouldn't be, a huge surprise. But just wanted to mention that. So we'll put that here right beside that one. So on our right, we have the standard, game bale there. And on our left, we have the Hesston Bale. Again, 9,000 liters, a mass of 430 kilograms. And Hesston Bale has 13,000 liters, almost twice, but not twice the weight at 621 kilograms. So there's your difference. But the textures are the same, etc. But let's see if we can recreate the issue with the Hesston Bale over here. Now, in his gameplay, and if you don't know about that, that's the daddy one. He used Ferguson and one, I think, the standard bell spike, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see if we can recreate the issue that I have seen also. Okay. Not seeing the issue so far. Yeah, that is the issue right there. So the issue is sometimes it's hard to get the bells off like that. Let me see if I can finagle those off. There we go. And if you go, yeah, that shouldn't do that. Like that bell spike should go through. So particularly on that side is quite difficult to remove. Okay, if I go straight through, it's not bad, but that should not nearly be that difficult to usually come off. So let's go take a look at the standard bale over here, and I'll show you what I mean. So And we'll try to replicate that as much as possible. So going in and out of this bale is relatively easy. Yep. So it is, yep, using its collisions or friction with the rest of the world. Yep. So that's pretty easy there to manipulate and get off. Now this isn't impossible to do with this one, but stuff like that, it should go in and out much easier for sure. It works. It's just not ideal. So now that we have established the issue, let us go dig into some of the game files and the mod files and see if we can figure out what the difference is between this. All right, let me pull up, and I already have, well, let me show you what I have done behind the scenes. So I have created a separate version of the Hesston Bale mod that we will modify right here. So it's called Hesston Balers and Hesston Balers Quasar Edit. That's the one that we're going to modify to compare and contrast and see what we can find out. So identically, everything's pretty much identical. So it is going to be identical until we make our changes. I renamed it this item so you can tell that it'll be the different one. So if we look at this one has the Agco Hesston Baler. The name is still the same there. All right, and I think that's everything we need to do there. So let's look into the game files, shall we? Okay, so this is the mod description, mod desk file. I just want to show you that I did indeed change the name right here of the mod itself, so we can differentiate them. And I'm just going through, and I already did this, but the store items, the Hestons, that is the actual balers themselves, but this is the item of interest right here. So we're looking into the bales folder, Square Bale 240 XML. So let me pull that up. Okay, so this is that same folder, right? So this is my mods. This is the Hesston Balers Q edit. That is the same folder that we're going to work in. So what we're going to look in bales, and let's pull up the XML first, and I'm probably going to pull up the i3D. Okay. Now immediately looking into this, and I saw that the file name obviously is going into this bale, which is in that folder right here. And to describe some of this stuff, so this is the size of the bale, is if it's a round bale or not. This is the i3D file. That's the 3D model of the bale right there. Mountable object, if you can mount it. The mesh stuff here. And these are all of the, if you will, the masks that you can apply to the bale. So if you have a bale with grass, you know, the windrow, it'll look like grass. If you make it hay, if I'm not mistaken, that's the dry grass windrow. You can make it straw. That's the one we're dealing with. It'll have that texture to it. And you can also have a silage bale. And this is only applicable to the balers that we were just talking about, the Hesston balers. These are the types of bales that Hesston baler can make. Okay. Nothing looks strange here. All this looks good. So let's actually go into the folder again. I kind of took a peek in here already. All right. So let's go ahead and open up the Square Bale i3D and see if we can find anything specifically with the collisions. So that dark texture right there, that kind of gives you, you know, lets you see the Hesston Bale right there. But it's a very simple shape. So there you go. I mean, well, you see all those triangles and whatnot. But overall, it's just, you know, a rectangular type shape, right? So we don't have much to this. But the only place that we actually do have the collisions, which is indicated by this rigid body part right here, is in the Square Bale 240. Now, the base game has a Square Bale 240 in it, and I'm probably going to have to pull that up and to compare some stuff. But let's click on this. So, yeah, everything looks pretty standard. I believe that's the correct collision mask, that hex number right there. So that tells, you know, this item, oops, if I go back to it, how to interact with its world. Some of these collision masks, and there's I don't know, there's a bunch of them. I think that's correct though. But essentially what they do, they tell this object's collision areas how they interact with other collision areas. So in Bale Spike, for example, should be able to go through it, but it should not, like, let's say it's through it, it should be able to pick it up also. Like, it should not go through the ground. Wheels, like if you try to drive over it, it should create an area that it can't drive over. So that collision mask stuff is all that magic right there. I want to say, I think the static friction and the dynamic friction may be different, because I haven't looked at Bales in a long time. Or is it the density? Something's different. But let me pull up the base game file for a Bale, and we'll see what that looks like, okay? All right, let me go into Farming Simulator. I'll pull this up so you guys can see it. Where is it? It's going to be in data. I want to say it's probably in objects, and we're looking at, yeah, Square Bales. So we're going to look at the 240 because that's going to be the closest one to it. And I'll pull up that file. Interestingly enough, we could use this file name right here with that same path in this file name. And what that will do, it will use the exact same base game one, but the size would be different because it will actually use a different, as we saw through in the intro there, slightly different. But that all looks good. Force acceleration, all that stuff. Well, that's slightly different for certain ones, but I don't think that's going to matter. Interesting. I might change all the force accelerations, but we'll leave those at the moment. I think it's somewhere else. All right, so let us open up. So we're back in the base game. Let's look at that i3D for the 240, shall we? Did I click on it? Yes, I did. All right, we'll zoom in a little bit here so you can see it a little up closer. Yeah, you can tell it's a slightly different model. It's just on its side. But let's look into the collisions like always. Click on rigid body. Aha, some things are different. The static friction and the dynamic friction are different. The density is the same. And let's do this so you guys can see both of them, shall we? We'll do that and we'll do that. All right, side by side, you can tell. So on the right here, that's the base game one. And on the left is the one from the mod. Static friction and dynamic friction are different. So what we need to do, we need to modify that. Now, I'm going to close this, and you have to be careful with the game ones. You don't want to change anything on your actual base game. I need to remember 1.3. So I'm going to leave that as it is. That's not a problem. 1.3 is easy to remember. But I'm going to show you what you might run into as an issue. Kind of gave away the issue there, but let's see. So let's go into here. It's easy as 1.3 and 1.3. It's not letting me go over 1. Yeah, and that is a function of Giants Editor. But what I can do, I can show you guys how to actually change that. All right, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to revert this file. Yep, changes, they will be lost. Understood. Now, because this is so simple, I'm not gonna actually go through, but then remember things like the ID number and all that because it's a very simple shape. But what I am going to have to remember are static friction and dynamic friction. Both need to equal 1.3. So what I'm going to do is edit this in the i3D text editor. No, I don't want to save the changes to that. But here is the key. To make changes to this file in that for things like static friction and dynamic friction, you need to close this, right? So you have pretty much one working version. It's the same file. It's just different versions of that file. So you don't want to fight with the game. I'm sorry, with the editor and this at the same time. So best thing to do, close that one in this particular case. And let's go in here and see if we can find. So that's that shape ID. But like I said, it's very simple. And we need to go into, am I finding it? Where are they at? Shape, material, node, compound, collision mass node right there. Material IDs, non-returnable. Where is it? I am missing it. Collision mass, density, clip. Not seeing it. Maybe that's what it is then. Maybe because it's a default, they might not show. But let's see. Let me find friction. Ah, interesting. So I did not know that myself. So let's do this. It did not show up there. Maybe because it's at the default. So I'm learning something myself today. So let's go back into the i3D file. Okay, we're back in the bale. Let's look at that again to make sure I got everything I needed to. So I'll go back to rigid body. So that's what it was. My dynamic friction did not stay like it was supposed to. So to ensure that's going to be the case, I need to type one in there and hit enter, right? And to double check that, you can always go to another part of your model. And let's go back to that same tree. Yeah, and you'll see there, that is still 1. That is the key that you want there. Okay, let me save that. And now I'm going to open it with my editor here. Let's close that one, like I said. So we are only working with that one model. And let's go down to static friction and dynamic friction. So we needed both of those to be 1.3, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Good. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to hit save on the file itself. Right? We're going to close this because we only want to work with one. Let's go back into our i3D for the Hesston Bale itself and make sure those values carried over. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there's our model. Let's go here. And if we look in the rigid body, 1.3 and 1.3. That's how you get those to update greater than 1. You have to use the i3D text editor, which is that little icon right there. And you can set it up. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can right click on the i3D file and open it in text editor. That'll do it also. Let me double check to make sure I got all of this right. So let me go back into my farming simulator directory, data. We'll go into objects if I'm not mistaken. Yep, square bales, 240. And make sure we got that equal to the other. So we'll click on there. Let's get a little repetition. 1.3, 1.3, all good to go. Again, you don't want to mess with the base game stuff. That will mess up some other stuff as far as multiplayer, etc. So try to leave that stuff alone. Okay, I think we got everything buttoned up for our test. Let's go back into the game and see what happens. Yeah. Don't have to say that. Okay, so we're back in the game now. Let's see what happens. So we need a bit of an area to keep everything separate. So let me separate this here by, I don't know, what is that, decoration, fences. Let's do something to separate the two areas. And we'll use, yeah, that looks appropriate. Something like this. And we're gonna go, we don't have to go all the way up the field, but we'll go up substantially far enough there. Boom. Okay, and we'll get specifically our modified Hesston Bale, and I'll do a different color and configuration just to keep it separate. Let's do the yeah, the Fent. Now I should go grab one of my, I think I got a Fent tractor over there somewhere. Yeah, let's use, I don't know. Sure, that'll work. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. Okay, let me grab a tractor over here that I already have something set up. I like this one a lot. The Extreme. So in a nutshell, it was dealing with some of the parameters with the collision areas. Okay. All right, and for testing purposes, we'll try to keep the variables to a minimum. Let's unfold that, and we'll use the same Ferguson with the same everything on that. And let's see, we need to go into here. We need to go to straw and fill, and I'll remove the background so you guys can see that. There we go. And we'll get, I don't know, a few of them, right? So we'll go back here and we need to eject that. And let's get into our Ferguson and see what this does. So that was that old Hesston Bale right there. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to treat them differently, but it is definitely still maintaining that kind of hard nature of pulling in and out with the bale spike. So let's see if that's still the case with these over here. Oh, will this fit through there? Oop, wait a minute, no, maybe not. Oh, like a glove. Okay, we're through. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, that's much better. Much easier. Okay, and that was just because I went in at an angle. But yeah, oh yeah. That's like butter. Easy peasy. So I think that might be our issue resolved. And it's still using that same the new bale that was created specifically for, yeah, that's pretty good right there. Let's try a different side. Oh, that was a little tougher. Oh, no, I just didn't have it down. There we go. And we'll put it down, make sure it slides out. Good, very good. Okay. Oh yeah, that's very good. And will it slide out easily? Yep, it does. Now let's get this one over here just to be 100% sure. Let me flip it. Make sure we can get a good angle from the top. Well, I definitely didn't do that very well. There we go. Just trying to get all the weird angles. Like all the things that you would probably do. Yep. Like accidentally or even on purpose maybe. Yep. Yeah, that looks like it is doing very well. So I think that static and dynamic friction of actually when you put it on a surface is what's really helping this thing come off. So, yep. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to use a different, well, let's use a couple of things. I'm going to use a different telehandler with a different set of forks, those bale spikes, and let's get something something with a bale trailer just to load it up. So I'll make that a time lapse, but I want to do several of these builds to make sure loading is at least similar to the base game ones. Okay, let me get some stuff in and load it, and I'll report back if I see anything strange. But let me show you guys this thing one more time. Let's just get a bunch of these because it's funny to see all these things fly out. Let's remove the background here. Ah, look at all the bales. Look at all the bales. That's funny. Sorry. I don't know. The small things in life, right? All right. So I'll time lapse all this area. Oh, the spot. Well, we buried that over there. I'll time lapse all this and make sure everything works right. But you can just see me do this little bit of a test, real world test, and make sure we got everything situated. Okay. But I'll be back after we're done and report anything weird that I see. Okay. See you guys in a little bit. Okay, I think that is probably a good enough test right now. And excuse the atrocious stacking job here. I'm just really trying to make a mess. No, I'm really just trying to observe how the objects act with each other. But so far, it's behaving exactly like I would expect it. I haven't noticed anything weird. It's just like the base game bales, pretty much. So I think that was our only issue. And I've done some quite silly things of trying to stack these in weird ways and bad angles, and like now I'm trying to be a little bit more conscientious of proper bale handling techniques. But just trying it. Last little thing I want to do, I'm going to push it forward with the extension, and then see if just the extension by itself will be enough to pull these bales, well, the bale spike out of the bales, that is. So let's go that way. This might not be long enough to do that. All right, and drop that down. Yeah, that works. Again, not the prettiest stacking job at all, but more or less just concerned with functionality at the moment. Alright, let me try that one more time with the bigger telehandler here. And make sure that's working with the other bell spike here. So I think that will be it. That mystery is solved. Well, this will neaten up that stack a little bit too. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm really doing this. It's bothering me, man. Sorry. All right. And what we'll do, we'll push this as far up as we can. And we'll use that to push it. And what I need to do now, make sure we got contact with the surface of the trailer. Well, there we go. Oh, I'm already as far back as I can get. Let's do this then. Push it out like that. Goes in easily. And goes out very easily. Alright, that's better. That's better. That's better. Not perfect, but better. Sorry, I had to strap those. Alright, everybody. So I think that is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to continue testing. And this also kind of gave me the idea to review some stuff about bales and some of the other cool mods that use, bale altering things. The ultimate mowing and baling pack, I think, is the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, I think I have some really cool tips and tricks for this stuff. And we'll talk about it in another episode. All right, wonderful people. Well, I'm just trying to keep this short. So in a nutshell, remember, change your static friction into dynamic friction. You have to use the i3D text editor to do that, right? Make sure you know that I think it was 1.3 each. And that makes sense. The friction against the ground and the other objects, the other collision zones, needs to be higher for these so you can slide off. Well, I think that was everything. Well, all right, wonderful people. Again, thanks for watching. You guys have a good one. Take care. See you later.